Okay, welcome everyone to part 2 of our series on dating. And once again, I had a whole class set up, some lovely ideas, some thoughts on dating. And then I have people who attend our classes and programs. We'll start with a wonderful young lady over here, Chelsea Stern, who just handed me something, which I just read 30 minutes ago. So we're going to start with this today. And I'm on a tirade. Because either you're all crazy or I'm crazy. It could be just me, or it could be all of you. But the fact you're here this evening means you want to learn and see where we go. We have a few more guys here this evening, which is good. Next week, or next class, I should say, it won't be next week, this already. Pesach, everyone brings a single guy with them. That's the deal, all right? Because as I said last week, I'm preaching to the choir. So each one of you brings a single guy. Can we do that? Say yes, Rabbi. Okay, let's start with this article. I got to read this stuff. People actually reading this stuff. I'm going crazy. And maybe you'll hear this and you're like, yeah, this is what's happening out there. This is an article from a magazine called Cosmopolitan. Okay, fine. And where else do I get my information from? I don't read Cosmo. This is the wonderful Chelsea, who's not like this at all. And be very clear, I know Chelsea well. She's not like this in any way, shape, or form. Okay, let me be very clear upon that. And she reminded me of that as well. But chances are Shannon Truax, or Trua, silent X, is going on a date tonight. The only question is with whom. It might be Mike. That's not his real name. Whom she took home last week after drinks at a chic hotel bar, with whom she sparked a conversation at a work event last month, or another of the 11 guys she's currently juggling in a romantic rotation via Facebook, Twitter, text, and email. 11 is on the high end, she says, 3 is the low end, and 6 is a sweet spot. Says the lively blonde social media director from Seattle. To be clear, she's talking about the magic number of men she may multitask at any given moment. You're not dating, you're multitasking. In my day, multitasking is being on the computer and the phone at the same time. Not for this young lady. There's a tier system, explains Trua 34, that's how old she is, who notes that with the exception of scattered makeouts, she fools around with only one guy at a time. I've had plans to have dinner with one guy, and then somebody I like better will text me. We're going to talk about texting tonight, about drinks, and I'll do that instead. The way I see it, I'm researching and homing in on what's important to me and a man. It makes sense that you would swap out somebody for someone else. There is always somebody else. She's right. There is always somebody else. On that, I'm going to agree. So it goes in the dizzying era of ADD, attention deficit dating. I like it. For better or worse, it's harder than ever to focus on just one person when a continuous feed of guys, feed, you get it? Feed on the computer feed. Conveniently mapped out within your zip code is just a tap away on rapid-fire location-based dating apps between Tinder swipes, Match winks. Is that what you do on Match? You wink? That's perverse. Facebook likes and good old-fashioned late-night texting. Young single women and their male counterparts are high on dating options and low on... Is this true? Is this accurate? Or is this just one crazy person who's in the dating world? Don't be embarrassed. It's an open. Little bit?
I told you my theory.
Yeah, okay, we're on your theory. We'll get you in a second. You hold on a second. We're going to get you in a second. Don't worry. I heard your theory. And let me just finish with this. ADD dating may sound a little empty and icy, but as Alison Schwartz, co-founder, Jewish girl, co-founder of the girl power-infused man rating app Lulu, says, who has time to waste? We're busy women. Yes, you are busy if you're dating 11 people at one time. Just to be very clear, there's more on this, and I would read the rest of it, but I have to keep my dinner in my stomach. So I'm going to... the article is called, chances are, Shannon Trua is dating, going, oh, I see. The name of the article, Do you have dating ADD? What? Do you have dating ADD? Good title. I like that. Do you have dating ADD? Okay, so that was one article, which I was going to speak about. And then my Jamie over here Same another one, which I think most of you have read, the 18 ugly truths about modern dating that you have to deal with. So I'm going to run through this, because this is the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life. And I read Frankenstein, and I read a lot of terrible stuff. This is frightening. But what I'm going to do is, as I go through, I'm actually going to respond to every point. Are you okay with doing this for 5 minutes? Yeah, if you're okay. But because I don't know, because then no one speaks out against this stuff online, you may get a comment at the bottom. Let's just go through this very, very quickly. Number one, and tell me if this is true, because I want to know. I left the dating world. I was in it for many years, and it wasn't like this. Number one, 18 ugly truths about modern dating. The person who cares less has all the power. Nobody wants to be the one who's more interested.
Yes, true.
Okay. Let me be very clear with you. If you're dating, you should be the person who cares the most. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing shameful about that. If you want to give that impression, we'll get to it's nothing wrong with I'm in tirade mode. By next class, I'll be calming down. You should care the most, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if that means showing you're vulnerable, that's okay. What do you want to say?
I was saying that no girl, and there's tons of girls here, right? So you probably agree. So no one wants a guy who's too needy, right? Yes. So if you come across as too needy, you're focusing
Okay. I want to make a distinction. I want to make it. Okay. So I'm going to make a distinction between being needy and caring about a person enough.
after 2 or 3 dates.
Yes, after one date. Let's keep going. Number two. Because we want to show how cavalier and blasé we can be to the other person, little psychological games like intentionally take hours or days to text back will happen. They aren't fun. Okay, now we know that's true. That is also totally unacceptable. It is terrible. Me don't characterize to do that. You don't text back. You call, as I've mentioned before many times, and I'm going to say it again, within 24 hours. That's number two. By the way, you know what I want to do? I want to start a system where people who want to date will have to go through my system in order to do it. It'll be a free system, and you both agree to hold by my rules. It's not so crazy. From the beginning. And if everyone's like, no, it's Rabbi Lawrence's rules, right? RLR. Everyone's like, putting things down to initials, RLR, Rabbi Lawrence's rules. And if you want to do it, and this will be another one, you've got to call back within 24 hours. Number three, a person can be carefree because they have zero interest in you, looks exactly like a person being carefree because they think you're amazing and are making a conscious effort to play it cool. So some people are carefree because they're not interested. They're carefree because they want to be cool. Good luck deciphering between the two. Here's the article. Okay, let me answer that very carefully. When dating, be honest, be open, and be fair. You're adults. You can be very, very honest. I'm interested in you. I'm enjoying dating you, although it's only been 2 dates. That is not being needy. That's not being vulnerable. That's called being honest and fair. And you don't have to play that game of, yeah, man, I'm like too cool to show I'm interested in you, but actually maybe I am, maybe I'm not. You try to figure it out. With your friends all night tonight on the phone. Yeah. Number four, making phone calls is a dying art. Chances are, most of your relationships communication will happen via text, which is the most detached, impersonal form of interaction. Get familiar with those emoticon options. Okay? Sad face, hi face, winking at you, ice cream. Okay. Let me be very clear about this as well. This is being filmed. I have no idea I'm going to even show this video, but okay. Phone calling is okay. It's respectful. When I was thinking about it this week, actually, I used to, Sociology 101, the easy, so during, I remember this for some reason. There was this guy, his name was Basil Bernstein. It was a very weird name, so I remembered it. And this guy was an expert in communication. And he said there's 2 ways people communicate. They have a restricted code and an elaborate code of speaking. Restricted and elaborate. Anyone remember this one? Okay. So kids from the inner cities use restricted codes. They're like, hey, yo, what's up? Right? As opposed to people from not in the inner cities, he found when they communicated, they had full, long sentences. And he basically proves somehow through that, this actually reflects upon their emotions, it reflects upon how they develop, what they're like as people, this kind of stuff, So upper classes, middle class people have longer conversations and longer sentences, as with your kids. Can I please have it in Mawaba? You know, these like that. You teach kids that way, see? What's happened is everyone has reverted to the restricted code because we're all LOLing online. We've actually devolved back to our childhoods, and we're actually using all communication. In dating, I'm talking straight this course, I hope you realize that. In dating, I don't think you should ever text. Unless you're confirming something you've already spoken about. Or sending a cute little thing once in a while. But even that, I am totally against. Setting up a date via text is hard. Breaking a date on text? Do people do that? I'm assuming they don't do it, yeah. That's not acceptable. It is. Yes, this is what you're going to do. Watch. You're going to pick up the phone. You're going to, hi, it's Jamie. You know what? Something came up at work. I'm really sorry. I can't make it tonight.
I'll be honest. It depends on culturally. Not from here. Moved over here. I did the whole phone call thing because I thought that's in London. That's what you do. You make a phone call, and they got freaked out. They're like, "What are you doing calling me?" You know, it's like too much. So
I hear. Maybe they freaked out because you were calling them. I'm just saying it could be that as well. What? Yeah. Okay. Using a phone, 2014, it still works. This thing comes with a phone as well. I'm just telling you. It's not just a text Facebook machine. Okay. Set plans are dead. People have options and up-to-the-minute updates on their friends, whereabouts thanks to text and social media. Maybe, or I'll let you know. No. You make set plans and you stick with them. Okay. That's okay as well. It doesn't show you're needy. This is respectful. I'm not that much. This is basic respect. Someone who hurt you isn't automatically going to have bad karma. Now, here's another big thing, which I hear a lot of. There's a lot of people who do this kind of thing, and they think, oh, you know what? They were bad to me, and they're going to get back as well. Okay. When you finish, it's done. Get over it. Don't let these people live in your head rent-free. You've got to learn to move on. And wishing bad upon people, in Jewish thought as well, could actually affect them in a bad way. I know it sounds weird. It does happen to possibly. Well, don't do it. It's not worth it. Do you mind if I do this, by the way? This is just for me. I'm finding this therapeutic. I have to be this. The only difference between your actions being romantic and creepy, this is the best one, by the way. The only difference between your actions being romantic and creepy is how attractive the other person finds you. Is he stalking me, or am I really interested in him? You know, it depends if he's the kind of guy I'm interested in. Yeah? Okay. I don't want to say about that one. 8, by the way, this is not at all what I was going to speak about tonight, but I have 6, 7 classes on dating, so I'm going to do what I want. Number 8, let's chill and want to hang out. These are vague phrases that likely mean you want a good time and are not interested in a real date, that are not acceptable. You can actually approach someone. I'm asking you, by the way. I'll take feedback. Is it okay to someone, hey, can we go on a date? Is that word still used? Is that acceptable? Yeah, it's a good word to use. Good word to use. Let's chill, let's hang out is not a respectful way to... Okay, the next one I'm going to leave out because even I'm too embarrassed to say that one. Number 10. The text message you sent went through. If they didn't respond, it wasn't because of malfunctioning phone carrier services. Ouch. 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 11. So many people are scared. This is very interesting. By the way, I'm joking, but I actually find this terrible. I really, really do. So many people are scared of commitment and being official that they'll remain in a label-free relationship which blur lines and only works until it doesn't. I've said many times before, I'll say it again, we're just talking is opening the door for cheating that technically wasn't cheating because, hey, you weren't together. They wrote that word twice, by the way, I didn't repeat it, okay? Okay, I'll say it again, I mentioned it last week, I'll say it again. When you're dating, you have to be very upfront as to your status. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'll say it again. From date, I'll give you one date just to figure it out, but from date 2 and definitely date 3, you should not be dating anybody else. This juggling act, which they're speaking about... Yeah, please, I'd like to hear.
Okay, just from past experiences, I love your theory. I absolutely love it. I wish it was the norm. And where I'm from, it is the norm. After 2 or 3 dates, you're kind of together in a non-committable way, but you're actually getting to know each other and dating. Exclusive,
We use the word exclusive relationship.
Exclusive thing,
Yeah.
not to date anyone else, but that's because I live in a community where there aren't many Jews around, so people know. However, if you're sort of dating anyone else, so you are committed in a sense. But here, after 2 dates, I think it's frowned upon from my experience.
Okay, so I'd like to. Okay, is it found? Yeah, hello.
I just think that, gosh, I don't want to get attacked for this. I think that it's really, you're limiting your options, and you don't know if that person's going to stick around. There's no guarantee.
Okay, so you're saying something very fair, and I think that's what most people do it not because they're malicious or nasty. They're nervous. That's what you said. They're afraid. Fear is a very big thing. There's no doubt about it. People are scared to commit themselves, to make themselves open up emotionally to someone else, that their feelings may get hurt. You can still be, and this is the key point, and maybe most people don't do it, you can still be in an exclusive dating relationship and still not be totally emotionally involved and get hurt when it ends. There, I said it. It's possible to live in both worlds. To be, right now I'm dating you, it's exclusive, I'm not going to date anybody else, because I happen to believe that if you're dating one person and you're dating other people, you're not dating that person. You're dating a lot of people. So I don't even know, the other option isn't even normal. I don't know how anyone can even do such a thing. But let's just say they could. The answer is that you're not going to be able to focus and make yourself exclusive. And just because you're exclusive doesn't mean you are totally open to being hurt. There are other precautions you can make. Because no one wants to get hurt, right? Yeah.
I think the problem in the city is that a lot of people, when they go on the first date, they're thinking, do I want to go on a second date, and then they say, no, I'm going to a third, versus saying, I really like this person, I want to spend time with them. Oh, look at that, they want to spend time with me too. And we automatically have made plans for Friday night. It becomes really like, oh, I'm going to kind of wait and see where you're at, and then maybe we'll go on a second date, maybe not. So I think there's too much stress put on the terminology that's used with dating, and people are less like, I mean, the most successful relationships I know are when they met, and they're like, oh my God, it was just so great. We're having dinner on Friday. It wasn't even like, oh, we should probably wait this amount of time before we go on our second date. Too much pressure.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with actually saying, this is a nice evening, I'm going to see you again. Can I call in the next 24 hours? Yes, I can. And then let's go out Friday night for a second date.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think the problem with dating now in the city for our generation is that people are like, oh, I kind of can decide if I'm going to go on a second date versus do I like this person enough?
You can, wait a second, but you can like the person and go on a second date, or you can say this isn't right for me and not go on it. Wouldn't that, like, if you were to live, I mean, it sounds crazy, I hear. I mean, it's the way I dated eventually.
Just want to go out.
But why? They have friends? Go out with friends instead. Why can't it be called a date? Is it the same thing? They're scared of opening themselves up to be...
Okay, I can only speak for my female friends. I know a lot of them feel like, oh, I should probably give him a chance. It's like, yeah, but if you didn't like him after the first date, you're not going to magically start liking him.
I don't know. It's worth a second date. It's worth a second date. My general, unless you're completely horrified of the first date, it's always worth a second date. That's my general policy and rule, right? It's always what you get. I believe, yeah. But guys get very nervous first date. People say things, do stupid things. I think it's always worth, unless you're like, there is no chance. I mean, he was like, doing foul things, right, on the first date, which could be, or she was, to be fair.
I know people that sat there in silence for 45 minutes and then they felt obligated to go on a second date just because, like, their friends.
You don't have to go on a second date.
No one ever died from going on a second date.
I'm sorry?
No one ever died from going on a
No,
second
I know. I'm just saying, like, I think then what happens is then you're being focused on someone that you're not really interested in, and you know you're probably not ever going to be, and then you're kind of putting your.
I think a second date, that's why I said, a second date is sufficient to know whether you're possibly interested. Let me ask you like this. Anyone here play basketball before? Yeah, you play basketball. You're standing at the foul line. And sorry, what do you call it in this country? So your free throw, sorry. And you're about to throw the ball in, right? And I ask you, what's the percentage chance? I'm a soccer player, right? Let me play soccer, right? I'm standing at the penalty spot, and I got the goalpost in front of me. I'll talk soccer, that's what I know. And someone said, what's the chance of getting the ball past the goalie, the goalkeeper? So let's say I happen to be very good at soccer. So let's just say I say it is 60%. I can get the ball past the goalkeeper. With how much effort do I kick the ball? I can prove to you, I can hit 60%, I got it, 40%, I got it, 60% I got. With how much effort do I kick the ball with 60% effort? No, I wouldn't do that. But I know if I put 100% effort into it, there's still only 60% chance the ball is going to go into the goal, into the net, right? Still, I put, it's okay to put 100%, this is true in all of life, in psychological pursuit, spiritual pursuit, any pursuit, marriage. It's okay to put 100% of your effort into only a 6% chance of it happening. Now, if it's 20%, maybe it's not worth it. I hear that. But if you're past the 50% point, which I believe is the line, you know, you can still put 100% effort into it. Most people is, I only think it's worth 6%, I'll put 6% of my effort into it. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable in life, it's not acceptable in business, and it's not acceptable in dating either. Let's keep going. This is good, though. This is helping me, at least. Social media creates new temptations and opportunities to cheat. Nothing I can say about that. Now you're going to get off social media. Social media can create the illusion of having options, which lead people to look at Facebook at other attractive people instead of a means of keeping contact with friends and family. So we all know social media has turned into a dating possibility trough. Right? Anything is possible out there, and everyone else is in a perfect relationship, right? Aren't they? Everyone else is in a perfect relationship. She's always happy. She's on the beach. He's taken her away, right? She's being swept off her feet. He turned up at work with the flowers. You don't see them at 9 p.m. when he doesn't turn up for the date. You don't see him in the morning when he's all irritated. You don't see her when she's having a bad mood. You see Mr. and Mrs. Perfect. Their life is as miserable as yours, okay? It's just as bad. Compare leads to despair, right.
Which is, I think that same motto is what, to the earlier point of like dating multiple people at the same time. It's like you're always comparing. Like,
Right, absolutely.
And you end up not liking either of them because you spend so much time being like, well, this one had this.
I think this multiple dating thing, I don't know if it's done now. I think it's cruel. I think it's cruel. You're building up a relationship with one person and then with another person. It's complete insanity. And then, let's say you start to like both of them. You've got to dump one.
Well, I wouldn't date a girl if I know they're dating other guys.
You would not date a girl.
I'm very good. I would never date. I wouldn't date.
But you think it's okay for you to date other girls when you're dating someone?
I wouldn't date a girl if they're dating guys. It's been 4 dates already. I'm capable.
But is it okay for you to be dating other people?
It's not okay. However, having said that, any person you'll get, this is basically, okay, dating today, any person you get romantically involved with, you'll either wind up staying with forever or breaking up with at some point. These are equally terrifying concepts. Okay, they are, I basically rehashing the same point. They are scary. Being together with someone forever is very scary. The best thing to do is not think about it too much. Just do one date at a time, which is the healthy way to do it. They are scary. But if you're scared of both and you do neither, then you're dragging people along. If you're too scared of going long term and you're too scared of just breaking up, then you're left just dating and never really in a committed relationship, which is not fair, is it? Okay? When dating, instead of expressing how you feel, how they feel directly to you, a person is more likely to post a Facebook status or Instagram, a Tumblr-esque photo of a sunset with a quote or song, lyric, of someone else's words on it. And while it may not mention your name, it's blatantly directed at you. I don't understand that. What does that even mean? Does anyone know what that means? Seriously, I don't know what that means.
It's like somebody is, I think what they're saying is somebody who's like upset or angry. They don't want to actually like mention that person in the post, but they're doing it in an indirect way.
But who's seeing it? They're sending it to you?
No.
What, say to everyone? That's horrible. Let's say you're dating them. They know it's about you. Everyone knows. Everyone knows you're either the sunset or like a pit of dirt, if that's the...
Because you didn't
or a,
name the person.
But for those who know you're dating that person, they know.
okay, okay, we'll do a last one. Do the last one. There are... lost the pills. There are plenty of people who'll have zero respect for your relationship, and if they want the person you're with, they'll have no qualms of trying to overstep boundaries to get EM with a thing on, right? Is that right? Basically, you're constantly like defending and hoping your person's not going to be stolen by someone else. That's good for your self-esteem, isn't it? Constantly like fighting off imaginary women off Facebook or men. And finally, if you get dumped, it's probably going to be really brutal. People can cut ties over the phone. You can't do that. You have to meet people to break up.
People do it through text.
You don't have to agree with me. Text, don't even start. That is... Okay, I'll say like this. No. One second. If you have, ideally you should have a mutual friend or someone else for the first few dates. For the first few dates, you can use someone as an intermediary between you. Then I don't think it's right. If you agree on that, you can actually agree on a third person. But once you go past 4, 5, 6 dates, texting to break up is not respectful. The way you're meant to do it, I'm just telling you the way you're meant to do it. And that's what I did. I went out with a girl. We dated for 2 months. It was 2 months. And I wanted to break up with her. It wasn't right. And I was told, and it was the worst experience of my life at the time. Looking back, I feel good that I did it. I actually had to go from where I was living, upstate from Rockland, down to Brooklyn. Right? So 2 things. First, there's a distance. Second of all, it's actually in Brooklyn. Okay? So 2 disadvantages over there. Had to go to Brooklyn. Had to break up with her face to face. And you know what? It was unpleasant because she was in love with me, obviously. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. Cut the reel. No. We knew it wasn't working, but we did it face to face. It was uncomfortable. She understood. It finished off nicely, and she was willing to set me up with someone else. Happened to be very respectful. She was like, "This guy's a nice guy." We got together. I said, "I'm very sorry. I don't think it's working." She went, "Yeah, what's the problem?" We discussed the issues, and it finished off. We did it face to face. I think it's respectful thing to do. It's unpleasant. You know what? Life is uncomfortable. There's many more uncomfortable things you're going to have to do. But you have to actually get off your tuchus and go to the other side of Manhattan to sit down with someone and say, you know, it's very, very nice. I like it very, very much, but this isn't working, and I wish you well. Is that so crazy? It doesn't have to be dinner. Don't buy dinner. Go for a coffee, cake, okay? Or, meet them at Central Park. It's nice and cheap, and you can run to a bush after that. Okay. But that wasn't what I want to talk to you about. I got so much to tell you. I don't know. Okay. So, yes, Gail.
There is a phenomenon called ghosting. Just disappear. Like you can go on like. Was I about ghosting last week?
Yeah, it's about ghosting last week. We just mentioned it. We mentioned ghosting. Yeah, this is we're going to talk more about that. But I want to yes. Ghosting is another easy way out for cowards. Easy way out for cowards. Okay, 10 classic mistakes people make in dating. Let the class begin. Hey, 15 minutes of fun with Rabbi Lawrence. We'll pick it up. We've got a lot of time together. This is good. Number 1, the classic mistake most people make in dating is they expect that person to change once they get married. They honestly think this person is going to change. They are marrying what they think is potential for the future. And the truth is, and anyone who's been married knows it for sure, you actually can expect people to change after they've married for the worse. Okay? Usually, they do change. It just gets worse. That annoying habit they had before, the scratching, the unfortunate noises they come out with at Ippon, that's only going to increase. Okay? People do change, but you cannot make that happen. And who knows which way it's going to go. What you marry is what you're going to get. That's not to say that you should marry someone who doesn't have defects, because we all have defects. That's okay. And you can date someone who has defects. However, expecting that this is a phase he's going through, she's not going to be like this forever. Yes, she will.
So how do you, because I know you've also talked about, like, you marry someone who you think can, like, make you better and
Yes.
make them better and you can grow together. So, like, what are...
Great question.
How do you differentiate?
Hillary, you've asked it so nicely. Those defects are, in a marriage, there to help you become a better person. Meaning, let's say he has a habit of not being good with money. Okay, it happens. Some people are very frivolous with money, and some people are very tight with money. Right? In my marriage, my wife happens to be very careful, doesn't spend any. She's like every penny. Me, I'm like, woohoo, paycheck, party time, new shoes, here I go. You know, we have a. You know what? So my wife, over the 14 years we've been together, thank God bless her, sticking up with me, it's actually one thing. It's not like, oh, they're so annoying. Right? And I have room for improvement, but her defects become my area of improvement. That's what I need to work on. Because she is. Why is she this way? because our father's like that, because our mother's like that, which is how most of us are. All the stuff we do, which is annoying, comes from our parents. All the stuff they do, you say, I'm never going to do, you're going to do. From dropping your kids off in your pajamas and your house coat, right? They're going to do the same thing, right? And all the horrible, that becomes your, okay. Here's another word I hear a lot. You pick the person, the mistake you're making, you're picking a person based upon chemistry rather than character. Now, this is a word I hear a lot. Chemistry. Oh, we have such good chemistry. There's no chemistry. Okay, unless you're working in a laboratory, right, I don't know why you're playing with chemistry. Truth be told, here I shall admit my own faults. When I used to be set up with people, I wasn't interested for whatever reason, and they would say, oh, so why are you interested in my sister? What am I going to say? She smells? I mean, what am I going to, so I would say, well, she didn't, obviously, but what am I going to say? I'm going to be like, there's no chemistry. Okay, so you get to use it as a get out sometimes, okay? As an excuse, there's no chemistry, because you're going to answer, oh, there is chemistry. There's physics. What are you going to say? You know what I'm saying? There's good biology. What are you, like two apes? Okay, but chemistry is not going to work. You're looking for character. And I'm going to mention 4 traits, and I'm going to do one entire class on character traits. But I'm going to just mention them right now. Number 1, humility. Does this person, are they humble, or do they think they're God's gift to men or women? Okay? Do they think there's room for improvement in themselves? Are they some amount of reverence to them? You know, are they normal, down-to-earth people who believe there's room for improvement? Number 2, kindness. We could spend 7 classes just talking on this one trait. You're looking for someone who's kind. Okay? Every divorce I've ever been involved in, not personally, but counseling in, it's always they weren't kind. Rare I hear someone say, he was the kindest guy ever, I just had to break up. Right? Always lack of kindness. 3, good trait in character, responsibility. Taking responsibility for their actions, their faults, their life. Okay? Do they actually do what they say they're going to do? And finally, and this is a big one, happiness. Some people are happy people. Most people, I believe, are. I think everyone here who I know at least, they're happy people. Some people are just unhappy. Why? I'm not a psychologist, but I've met many of them. Some people are just unhappy individuals, and they should not be dated. You cannot make them happy. Like, what are you talking about? It's me. I can make everyone happy. She's going to be happy all the time. I'm going to make him happy. No, you're not. He's going to make you unhappy.
Lastly, there's a difference between, I find shyness and happiness quite sometimes at the beginning of dating. I find that someone could be shy. You can mistake that as being like kind of vision.
Okay. I don't like the word shy. I'm going to use a different word. Funny how much I think about this stuff. Isn't it amazing? That's what I deal with 90% of my time. Shyness is not the trait. The trait is introvert. Introvert is a trait. You have extroverts and you have introverts. Extroverts are people who, the more people who are around, they plug in to that and they get more excited. Introverts are not shy. When you're one-on-one with an introvert, they'll chew your ear off. Right? Possibly 2 of my daughters are introverts. She's not quiet. She's not shy. She will talk forever. Oh my God! How many times do I have to hear this story about Barbie? Right? At some point, I've had it's enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't say that. She is an introvert. When there's more people around, she won't speak up. And the other ones, they'll shoot from the lip. They'll always be there, always involved. So introvertness is not just 1 or 2 dates. That's who they are forever. They just warm up to you and will be willing to speak more, but they don't become extroverts. And don't mistake introvert for shy. Shy already has become like, she's shy, it's already like an embarrassing thing, right? No one wants to be called shy, but there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. It's just introvert is, when I'm one-on-one, I have friends, I like talk to them, and they just don't talk. Right? In a group, they'll just sit there, they're listening, they're understanding. People, here's another one. Many introverts will tell me, people think I'm snobby. They're not snobby, they're just not talking. They'll think, many people, introverts here knows what I'm talking about. People think they're being snobby. You're not being snobby, I understand that. They just don't need it. Everything goes into the head. They don't have HMD, head-mouth disease. It's in the head, comes out of the mouth straight away, no filter. That's all it is. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? It's not a sign of being unhappy. It really isn't. Unless they're having a terrible date and they don't want to talk to you, which is a possibility.
So you're saying with the search of characteristics, that I understand, but at the same notion, shouldn't there be like some sort of connection, like,
There should be some connection. I'm not pretending that you're like 2 robots who are dating, and it's like, so what are you? Oh, I have good character. No, that's not what I'm saying. You know, like body popping.
Such thing as chemistry.
One second. Let's change the word chemistry
Okay.
to what? Compatibility is good.
That's like match.
That's good. That's good. It is? Damn, they took it. I was all excited about are you telling me Match.com is taken? I can't start a website called Match.com? Don't worry, I have another website in my mind. JDate. What do you think? No? That's taken as well? What's left for me? Okay. There's a thing called love. There is a real thing. There is a real thing. My point is that's a real thing, right? I'm in love with my wife. My wife is in love with me. I tell her all the time. Okay, I don't say, we have such good chemistry. She'd like hit me with a pan. She'd kill me. I'm like, me and you. But we developed it, right? When we first met, there was no chemistry. We had nice conversations. She had good character traits I liked a lot. Some characters I didn't like. She saw character traits in me that she loved, right? Character traits that she was wrong about. And that's what it is. But the idea of like, oh, we have good chemistry, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You have a nice communication, you have a good conversation, right? There's a potential for relationship, that's good. But we don't have chemistry? What the heck are you talking? What does it even mean? I don't know what that means. I mean, married 40 years, I don't have a good chemistry. I don't know. I'm being serious, I'm not being...
You left out the being attracted to the person.
Oh, yes, okay. Yes. This is obviously, I'm taking that as a given. That's not a character thing. If you're attracted, that's fine. Having said that, I'll be fair, over the years, I've met girls who've dated some guys who were like ostensibly really great looking guys. Like, you know, I mean, for a Jewish person, like over 6 foot, you know what I'm saying? Right, that alone, right? Like the hair and the thing and the cheek and the whole thing, absolutely beautiful. And they date the guy and they'll say this guy's terrible, got bad character. And then they'll date some guy after, and I'm like, this guy's a big jalub. You know, he's like typical 5'2", right? And that's his, you know, his girth. Never mind his height. And these guys, and these are like, and they'll fall in love, and they'll get away with it. They really will. So I don't have to talk about it. No one's going to date someone they're usually not attracted to. Right? Better take a...
But I think attraction can grow.
It can grow. Attraction can grow. Absolutely. It is different for girls and guys. It is different for girls and guys. It is changing, by the way. I think, unfortunately, beginning to... But it is different for girls and guys. Okay, I got 5 minutes. I got so much more. I don't know. This is a fraction of what I'm going to tell you. Don't worry, we'll do this again. Number 3, you pick the wrong person because the man doesn't understand what a woman needs most. Which is what? I was scared someone's going to ask me that because I got no idea. Okay, so people have emotional needs, and they are different among men than they are to women, as we can all attest. Can we still say that in 2014, that we have different emotional needs? And I believe that women have needs which, on an emotional level, need to be satisfied. And men have different needs, which are emotional, as well as other needs. I think the unique need of a woman, and I'm saying this as a man married for 14 years with 4 daughters, is that women need to feel, and I tell every groom about, I'm doing a wedding in a few weeks, God willing, and that's a great, great couple, and I say to every groom I'm about to marry off, they meet with me, at least once, but usually many more times, usually know them very well. A woman needs to feel as though she is his number 1 priority, even if she isn't. Okay, so I don't speak to you because most of you are women over here, so I'm speaking to the men, and you can tell guys this as well. Tell them straight. A woman needs to feel as though she is the number 1 priority. That is the most important thing. That means she can't feel as though work is, she can't feel as though sports is. All those things may be true, but she can't feel it. Men don't necessarily need that. Men don't necessarily need that. They're willing to, right, seems of, they need to feel as though everyone else sees them as the number 1 priority, but the person they're with, maybe that's not such a central thing. That's, I would say, if you would ask me, it's my opinion, I've seen one of the biggest differences between men and women, which when I do marriage classes for people about to get married, I tell them that you'll get away with a lot of bad behavior, right, golf games, hanging out with your friends, if you can persuade her you're number 1 priority, okay? Even if you're not. Sometimes he's worried about work, he's worried about business. There was a guy who was a good friend of mine growing up, and I was getting married. I mentioned the story here before once. I apologize if you heard it before. And he came to my wedding, and he stayed in my room. And before I got married, I was terrified. I was, Spilkers, don't ask. All right, don't look at me now. I'm a broken vessel now. But back then, I was there was still something in here, you know. And I was absolutely terrified. I'm joking. I was absolutely terrified, but I was scared. And he came in, so I said, Dave, tell me something to, cheer me up. He's like, I've got something to tell you. I said, what? He's like, I'm getting divorced. I said, what? I'm getting married to him. What are you telling me that for? Are you crazy? It's a true story. I was staying in my room. So I spent the whole night with him, listening to his whole thing. By the morning, I was like, I was walking to the chuppah, It's a true story. So I said, but why? I wanted to hear. He goes, let me tell you why, so you don't make the same mistake. He got married to a lovely girl. He just started a business giving microloans, small loans to businesses, like microloans. Very, very hard business, he told me. There's a lot of effort, a lot of attention, a lot of work. He spent his entire first year of marriage building up that business. He wasn't playing around. He wasn't messing around. He wasn't going to games. He was sincerely, every opportunity. When he came home, that's all he spoke about. That's all he did. That's all he's involved in. That was his entire life. Marriage broke up. She was not top priority. Right? First year of marriage, the Torah makes it very, very clear. You focus on the other person. I'm going to add something to this story, which I like to add at the end. 1 year of marriage, first year of marriage are the roots of your tree I mentioned before. It's crucial. Nowadays, what they achieved in our grandparents' lifetime and before, which took 1 year, in our day and age, it takes 5 years. That's what we are. I've heard that from a number of very great people, teachers, advisors, and rabbis. What used to take 1 year to achieve, we're going to need 5 years. The first 5 years of your marriage, that's your work. Okay. That's what I have to say about that right now. You choose the wrong person. The mistake you're making is you don't share common life goals and priorities. It's obvious. But there's got to be certain goals and interests you have, which you have in common, whether it's wanting to build a family, whether it's where you want to live, your outlook on life. There's got to be stuff in common. It sounds pretty obvious, but for some people it isn't. I know people who date for a long time, and people got divorced and say, we actually had nothing in common. How did you get married without anything in common? I don't even understand that. I mean, what did you talk about? Didn't the conversation peter out after 20 minutes? I don't even. You choose the wrong person because you get intimately involved too quickly. And we'll skip that one. And number 6, okay. This is a difficult one to talk about. There's a number of time out? Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that. I want to come to that one another time. I want to leave that one. I seriously do. Such a man, right? Okay, you know what? We're going to stop over there. We'll leave the next 5 for next class.